find himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So New off in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Hayes deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome to the Radical World Series Americas. I am James Parfit. I'm going to be guiding you through all the action here this evening as we go into round 5 live from Silverstone. 2 weeks ago at Laguna Seca, it was an exciting one, but Franco Sanchez took the win with Rafael Blanco in second and Richard Hearn in third place. In the current championship standings in the pros, it's Eric Harmon out on top on 141 with Franco Sanchez second on 136. Juan Puyo on 108 with Stephen Place on 104. Rafael Blanco on 102 with Christian Vizcarra also on 102. Rafael Benavides on 90. Mateus Moraes on 84 with Philip Wyatt on 70 with Ty Kim 60 and Diego Zuccarelli on 42. In the AMS, it is Mike Klausing in first on 94 with Joel Jacklin 88, Charles Krasik 86, tied with Richard Hearn at the moment. Andres Inup and Santiago Galbardoni on 70 with Max Siegel on 42. David Anderson on 36 with John Benewalid on 34 with Tyler Edwards. Cedric Ahorn on 30, Nicholas Seville on 24, Brandon Wright 18, Kevin Mulverhill on 16 and Edward Stanislawski on 14. In the Pro Team Championship, Virtual Racing Peru 1 are out in front on 238 with Virtual Racing Peru 2 on 208. Then you've got Waterback Racing on 141, Team Radline Caman on 104, Abana Sim Racing on 102 and On Wheels TV on 84. Hydro Race Geodesic Racing on 70 with Events Matrix on 42. In the AMS, it's Virtual Racing Peru free on 140 with Elite West Racing on 86, Lima Racing 64, and Virtual Racing Peru Solo on 24. So Virtual Racing Peru are wrapping up the pros and the AM team standings currently, as you see on the left-hand side. 12 cars on the grid at the moment. Welcome in, CJ. I hope you are well, with Beard on MC in YouTube chat as well. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to like the video, give it a big old thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed by now, then you should be. So subscribe to the channel as well, because that will be absolutely amazing. Silverstone itself, well, the home of British motorsport. I was up there myself on Friday doing a day with Radical Motorsport as well, and what an epic day that was. We got to see the cars racing around Silverstone testing, and then we got to test out their sim rigs for Assetto Corsa in their SR3, and there was me, Daryl Taylor, David Walters, John McHutchinson, Graham Brown was there as well, Daryl Taylor. Who else was there? There was my boy came with me as well. We actually beat Luke Maxwell, who was also there. So Luke Maxwell, Graham Brown, John McHutchinson and Graham Brown. And my boy was beat Luke Maxwell in the times on the board as well. And I got to sit in a Radical, which was absolutely amazing. It's a shame there's only 12 cars today. Silverstone is always a fun track. It definitely is, but it's one of them things, isn't it, when you come into that summer holiday and people are taking nights off and not racing because the wife wants to go away or go out for the day or do something, and unfortunately we are limited on our field. But at the end of the day, I'm sure these guys will put on some great action. We have got the likes of Christian Vizcarra and Franco Sanchez at the top of the timing tower in practice on a 1:56.369 currently at the moment. So you can see the times on the left hand side. There was like a 2-second gap between first and 12th, so hopefully these guys will keep it nice and close, as we will be going into qualifying very, very shortly, within the next 10 seconds or so. Sanchez looking to make it 2 in a row. He is after last time out 2 weeks ago, believe it or not, at Laguna. He went and took the win, so we'll have to see how it pans out here as well. And the problem you don't want is if the likes of Vizcarra and Sanchez are on pole and second respectively, and then they go and unfortunately have a coming together in turn 1, and then everybody else behind them joins them. So they kind of want to make sure they can get round turn 1 first before, at the end of the day, they start actually racing. And obviously turn 1 is Abbey, then down into Farm and Village. Now on Friday we did spend a lot of the time walking around the track because we were quite able to do that, and it was a fun day with watching the cars go past and going up to the main grandstand, and we were on the hangar straight, and yeah, we were pretty much all around the circuit. Vale Club down at 16 and 17, of course, down into what was Brooklands, Lovefield and Woodcote. We stood there for a bit as well. Daryl took some wonderful photos of the track and the cars. So all in all, it was a really good day, and a massive shout out and a massive thanks to Radical Motorsport for putting that on for us. And yeah, having us there with feedback from the guys regarding the sims and field of view and all sorts of fancy jazz. We were stood there on the right hand side as well, so it was quite an epic day out basically. So it was definitely a fun one, I'm not going to lie. And if you get the opportunity, sit in a Radical, completely different to what you have on iRacing itself with the SR10, of course. And it was interesting to know that actually Radical worked with iRacing after the changes last time out. So we met up with Jan up there, Mr. Radical they call him, and basically he was saying that Radical had worked with iRacing after the last update where the car went a little bit wrong. But yeah, it was a fun day, and a massive shout out to them as well, as we are on board with Rafael Benavides, who will be looking at starting his flying lap. We were there on the right hand side So just as they come down through Vale, going off now round Brooklands and Luffield, down into Woodcote. We were on the right-hand side grandstand. Now, I will say they probably need to rescan Silverstone, partly because that complete right-hand side of the circuit at the moment has got a hotel on it, and it probably needs a rescan between the two grandstands of going down through Abbey and going from Club, because as I say, there is now a massive hotel there as well, which will cost you a nice little pretty penny if you try to stay there on the F1 weekend. But it was only £155 a night without the racing going on, so it wasn't too drastic, you know what I mean? Not gonna lie. But you know, look, we can only live at the hope that we can get there on the on a Grand Prix weekend. So just as they come round this stand, there's actually now a hotel situated between them and the grandstands all the way down there. That's the Superstore. There's a hotel all the way down there now, so that it probably needs a bit of a rescan, as we're on board with Benavides, who's got purple and greens on the board. Viscara has got 2 purples as well as he goes hurtling through the Maggers and Beckett's. Left, right, left again, long looping right-hander, hook it up on the inside. Good job, get on the power, and away you go for Benavides as he then hangs down the hanger straight and then comes round Stowe under the Johnny Walker Bridge we go, and then down to the right hand side. So yeah, if you ever get an opportunity to go up to Silverstone, you definitely should do as well. It was a really nice circuit, great day. Hospitality, Emily up there was an amazing young lady, did a stellar job as well. So yeah, it was absolutely awesome. As we come through Club now, turn to the right, off that run, down through full, here we go, over the line we go, and Max Siegel goes into pole on a 157.61. Benavides then takes pole away from him. Richard Hearn, Jacqueline, Charles Krasik is another one that's looking coming over the line, and currently at the moment, what is he going to be able to do here once more? And Jacqueline goes, Charles Krasik goes into 6th. No time from Sanchez currently at the moment. We'll stay on board with him as well. Just trying to go to the track in Formula 1 costs a lot of money. At least that's how it is in America. Well, to be honest with you, you're not too far off over here. I think we worked out for the whole weekend for my family, and now there's 5 of us. So for my whole family to go to the Grand Prix for the weekend from Friday through to the Sunday, including the race as well. Now, mind you, this is without camping. This is just literally tickets only. They were going to cost nearly £2,500 just for the 5 of us to go and watch the cars race round. So God knows what the hotel would cost you. I've got to be honest, because you are literally on the start-finish line on the hotel. But yeah, it's definitely a pretty penny to be able to go and afford to do that. It's a lot of money, and as I say, it was about $2,500, maybe a little bit more, and that's without obviously camping or anything like that. That was literally just the tickets to get in. So yeah, it was a pretty penny. So here we go now with Franco Sanchez. Has he kept the car on track? Has he kept it all running currently nicely here as well? Is he going to put a time on the board? He is. It's pole on a 156.577, 6 tenths ahead of Benavides. Rafael Benavides from the Racing Team Peru on round Club now. 3.5 minutes remaining on the clock of qualifying. What is Benavides going to be able to put in? Is he going to be able to jump Sanchez? Is he going to break it closer? He's not got a time on the board at the moment. Philip Wyatt is also in there. He's coming round Club now. Let's see how Wyatt gets on. Krasik goes up on a 157.992. What about Wyatt? He does a 157.684, so puts himself into 8th place currently as well. The interesting thing is John McHutchinson timed one of the radicals, and actually in the SR3 it took him about 2 minutes 12 seconds to get round on the car, in the car around the track. 2 minutes 12 seconds. Of course, when we were racing, I think the faster guys were doing 204, 205, and I was in the 207s, I believe, or maybe the early 208s. Can't actually remember which way round it was. But whatever it was, I did manage to beat a driver. So I was happy about that. As I managed to beat one of the drivers. Now, obviously, from my point of view, I don't drive as often as all of these guys. In fact, my boy's got my rig now, so I can't even drive on the sim, even if I wanted to. But yeah, he was doing rather well, was my old chicken, my little off spawn. Richie Hearn is in 5th at the moment. He's got a couple of purples on the board. Let's see how he's going to get on here as he's heading down into Stowe. And then we'll go through turn 16 and 17 on that run down through Vale and then into Club. He's Franco Sanchez cements his pole on a 156.140. Richie Hearn has got purples all across 3 sectors at the moment. A yellow in sector 1. What's he going to be able to do is he's going to come over the line. This is going to be close, you know. I think this is going to be very close for Hearn. Where's he going to put himself? 156.374. He has hooked it up. He's done the lap of his absolute life and done a 156.374. So great job from Richard Hearn in the AMS as well. A stellar job from him. Wyatt goes up into 9th there. Philip Wyatt in 9th place currently at the moment. But yeah, Richie Hearn putting it on and really doing one for the AMS because he's done an absolute stellar job of getting that car up into 2nd place. So yeah, go Richie Hearn. As we're coming into the last minute 14. Hearn's got a purple on the board again for sector 1 with Viscara currently in 3rd. Sanchez in front of him has got greens on the board as well. What's Hearn going to do? We will find out his next sector time as he goes just into the entrance of Maggotts and Beckett's here. Hearn qualifying on row 1 provisionally, yes he is. Seagulls off the track. Hearn doesn't complete the lap. That is a surprise considering how well he was going, but there we go. I guess he wasn't happy with it currently, but as you say, he's sitting on the front row with Sanchez and Viscara behind him with Jacqueline, Siegel, Benavides, Clausen in up, Wyatt, Puyo, Krasik and Hohan at the back there as well. So 12 cars on track currently at the moment. Let's see how these guys get on and whether or not they can do an absolute barnstorming job. Joan Puyo from Virtual Racing Peru and Franco Sanchez from Virtual Racing Peru as well. These guys are got 4 seconds to get it round. He's not clearly going to do that. And qualifying will come to an end. So we can have a look at the grid for this 30-minute race. Franco Sanchez out in front with Richard Hearn 2nd, Viscara 3rd, Jacqueline 4th, Siegel 5th, Benavides 6th, Clausen 7th, Inop 8th, Wyatt 9th, Puyo 10th, Krasik in 11th, and Cedric Ohan in 12th place. So that will be all 12 cars. And Richie Hearn sitting on the front row at the moment. A stellar job from Richie Hearn. So let's see how we get on here and whether or not it's going to be a nice clean run down into Abbey, or is it going to be utter chaos here? And well, we're just waiting for the right hand side of the grid to get on. That's Philip Wyatt, Clausen, Siegel, Viscara and Franco Sanchez, who goes obviously taking that pole position. So lights are going to be coming on very, very shortly. 30-minute race, of course, guys. Don't forget 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are green with Sanchez, with Hearn, with Viscara. Viscara's got a bit of a start on the outside, but it is Sanchez out in front, currently running down through Abbey, through Farm, and then down into Village. Richard Hearn is under attack from Viscara. There's no movements through the field. Joan Puyo up 1 place, Wyatt down 1, Hearn up 1, and Krasik down 1 as well. Oh, there's a spinner with Benavides. Rafael Benavides, too many beans Cleans in the right foot there, sir. And unfortunately for him, he has gone off track already. And here we go with Benavides. He goes in hot. He tries to go past the 81 of Max Siegel and then just spins that radical SR10 up early in the doors in the laps. But it currently is Franco Sanchez, Richard Hearn battling away with Vizcarra in a second as they come through Luffield now, down through Woodcote and down the straight once more. Sanchez is out in front, absolutely dominating this race. How is he going to get on? Is he going to be able to pull away from Hearn? Hearn's tucked in right behind him, going round Abbey. Off through Farm they go once more. Here we go. And it's now through Copse down into Maggots and Beckett's, the left and right. Well, it's still on lap one, left-hander now. And then off through Beckett's. Got to hug that curb, take that curb as much as you can allowed. And these front five have opened up a little bit of a gap to Andrus Inop behind, who's got Mike Clausen, Jean Puyol behind that as well. But let's see how this one pans out as they come down into Stowe. And it is Benavides, then Hearn, then Vizcarra. Vizcarra's looking racy over the back of Hearn. He bullies Hearn. He gets his elbows out, does Vizcarra, and goes past Hearn and takes that lead away. Here's Hearn looking at coming back. Siegel's going to have a go at Joe Jacklin if he can. Jacklin's got to hang on to that curb, open the steering. He could have stopped Siegel's run there by opening up that steering just a little bit, and Jacklin now has lost that place to Siegel, and behind that as well Clausing's having a go once more with Wyatt as they're coming down now through Abbey, dropping off down into the farm and village. And then we've got Cedric O'Hearn in the Lightning McQueen livery, up 3 places. Inup Krasic has also had an incident here once more. And this is what currently Andrus Inup did he just go in too hot here? Oh, he did. Went in way too hot, did Inup. And unfortunately for him, he's been off track. Andrus Inup, Charles Krasic went off track and has dropped down the order. Sanchez and Vizcarra. Now Vizcarra has got past them as well. How did Vizcarra get past Franco Sanchez? And this was on the run now. He's going to ride up the inside. Great job from Vizcarra at Luffield as he come in around now. The right-hander there, and that is how Vizcarra took that lead away. But Vizcarra has lost it again to Sanchez, and Richard Hearn tucked up right behind him, whizzing through Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, these little SR10s here. What's going to happen once more? We don't dare come away from the front, because every time we do that, they literally swap places. So we'll stay on these front two currently at the moment. And let's see how it pans out. Vizcarra on the right-hand side, Sanchez on the left. Then we've got Richard Hearn in 3rd place behind him. And then Siegel and Jacklin behind that. They're slowly, you can see gap opening up there to Hearn. What about Joe Jacklin? Is once more under attack by Jean Puyol. And then we go back up into the front guys once more here, as these guys are battling away for the lead of the race. Richard Hearn takes a very wide line now on the run down in Abbey. They're side by side, 157.756 for Puyol, and Franco Sanchez says Vizcarra and Hearn, you guys carry on. Hearn's run a little bit wide, Joe Jacklin's gone through and Siegel's gone through as well, and Hearn I think may have got a slowdown on that one, because unfortunately he's lost a lot of time and sitting in 3rd place with Wyatt and Clausing. And Jacklin still got Puyol up behind him currently as well. So a lot of battles happening here across the track. And there is Joan Puyol right behind Joel Jacklin. On the brakes we go down through Brooklands. We've got to keep the curb, and then we've got to tighten it in on the exit of Luffield. Over the curb we go, but here comes Puyol. He's not giving up this fight once more. Joan Puyol, he's tucked up right behind this SR10 at the moment. He's not going to be able to make it down into Abbey. It's just going to be far too dangerous. And then we've got the front guys kicking it off as well up front with Franco Sanchez and Vizcarra. Nose to tail, literally 1/10 back with Max Siegel behind him. Siegel's having a bit of a blink at the moment. Not an ideal scenario. Through Maggots they go, then round the left-hander of turn 12, and then through Beckett's. Now on that run out of Beckett's down into Chapel, this place is going to go again. It's going to swap once more. Vizcarra's been sent to the outside though. Sanchez has not given him that position. Vizcarra's got to run around the outside if he's going to try and make this work. Down through Stowe. Vizcarra's on the outside. He's gripping. He's going to have the inside now to Club. He should retake the lead. Seagull's getting involved as well. Can't send it free wide there, sir. That's not going to work. And Vizcarra does come out on top with Sanchez right next to him and Seagull right behind that as well. Oh, massive swerve over from Sanchez there right in front of Seagull. Seagull's not going to be happy with that, I doubt very much. Jacqueline as well can sit back and watch all of this action happening. Now through the loop they go, that left-hander out of Aintree. And we're on board here with currently Joe Jacqueline, who's just watching all of this unfold in front of him. Why these guys are battling. Vizcarra has opened up and got away a little bit. And this is what Max Seagull sees. He sees that red car of Sanchez, 23 minutes to go. I'm not surprised Hearn got a slowdown and he has no wheels on the main racing surface coming out of Club. Yeah, big old slowdown for Richie Hearn. Dropped him all the way down into 6th currently. But Seagull doing an absolute stellar job once more. Let's have a look at the gap between the leaders and Hearn. It's 1.8 seconds between the front 6 here, with Richie Hearn chasing down Jacqueline. Hearn has got to try and get past him. You can see the leader up front. You can see these 6 cars fighting it out for these top 6 positions. This is AMS and pros. Seagull, Jacqueline, Hearn, Vizcarra, Sanchez, Puyo are the pros respectively as well. So great little battles from the AMS and pros here. They're so closely matched. Then you've got a 1.6 gap back to Philip Wyatt with Mike Clausen coming into the mix as well. But Max Seagull currently here in 3rd place, fighting it out with Sanchez on that run down into Club. Oh, Seagull's gone in hot. He's going to lose that place to Puyo, and at the moment it's a virtual race in Peru. 1, 2, 3. Seagull's gone in hot now. Jacqueline's tucked up right behind him. Hearn's tucked up right behind her as well. And then you can see in the background, there's Philip Wyatt and Mike Clausen. They're going to get themselves involved in this. The gap to Jacqueline, the gap to Hearn now is 2.5 seconds from that leader. 20 minutes to go. Hearn's gone off the side of the circuit. If he's ever going about doing this the wrong way, that's the way you don't want to be doing it. If you're going to ever just jeopardize your own race, you're doing it well and truly there. You cannot off track. You cannot off track because it's just not going to work. Too hot for his own beans there in Village. And then unfortunately for Richie Hearn is now dropped down to 8th place. So Richie Hearn really struggling with himself. The gap's now opening up. Wyatt's got about 4.2 seconds at the moment to Vizcarra and Sanchez and Puyo and Seagull still here. Sanchez and Vizcarra keeping each other honest though. They've got half a second. Then you've got nearly a bit of a gap back to this man, of course, João Puyo. 1.4 seconds to Puyo, who's only got about 9/10 to Seagull, and Seagull's going to have him. I got a funny feeling coming out of Beckett's. Off he goes through Chapel, and Seagull down the hanger straight should be able to make that move. So you can see there Puyo straight on the defensive, hugging that white line tighter than my daughter hugs a teddy, but he's left the door open. Seagull's going to go upside the inside. There he goes. And if you're going to leave the door open like that, son, you are just jeopardizing it. But Puyo's going to have the inside from that run down from Vale into Club. Puyo's going to go on the brakes a little bit hot. Seagull's going to try it. Puyo goes round there. Unfortunately for Puyo, he goes round and drops down the order all the way down into 8th, fighting away with Richie Hearn, who's going to have a massive overspeed and is going to go past him as well. Got a little bit of an off track did Hearn there, but unfortunately didn't really have a choice due to the fact, obviously, Puyo was coming on back onto track. So, yeah, unfortunately for Jean Puyo, He went in far too hot into club. Literally was trying to get that car stopped, just wasn't going to manage it. And Richie Hearn now goes past Mike Clausen. He's looking up the inside currently. Going to have that run out, down Aintree. We go. Richie Hearn making his move back through. Clausen now behind. Juan Puyol also going to have a go over Clausen coming down into Brooklands. He does. He then goes to send it up the inside of Hearn. He's not going to be able to get that done. Hearn's going to hug the inside for Luffield. Then look at taking that late apex. There it is. And then on we go once more round Woodcote. So it's all getting a little bit more spread out than what we had earlier on, of course. But then we've still got Siegel battling away with Jacqueline. Jacqueline is coming into your picture just about now. And then Franco Sanchez and Vizcarra fighting it out up the front as well. Hearn's locked up. He did lock up into Village. He went off track. He goes. And unfortunately for Richie Hearn, he's put himself all the way down. Well, he's now in 6th. So he's gone past Puyol, he's gone past Clausen, helped by Puyol, of course, making his own mistake, which, you know, if you're going to go smoking hot into club, you're definitely going to be in trouble. So that's exactly what he did. He just went too hot into club, and unfortunately for him, he ended up losing them positions. But he is back in front of Clausen here. Can Clausen get a hold of Puyol and stay at least in contact with him? Because that would be, as well, a complete achievement. So can he hang on there? And can he just make it a little bit more difficult for Puyol? Make it difficult. That's really what he wants to do, is make it a little bit difficult for Puyol to concentrate. He's got to send it on to let it run. He can probably open it up just a tad more to get it out onto the curb. But from Clausen's point of view here, he's got to try. He's given a different line to Puyol. He's showed his nose. Puyol opened that corner right up, and you can see the exit speeds are just completely different. Vizcarra and Sanchez up front there. Jacqueline loses quite a bit of time to Siegel through Maggers and Beckett's here. It's interesting to see where and when these guys are losing time. Like, you can see from Sanchez and Vizcarra, you know, they're swapping sectors at the moment. Vizcarra is taking sector 1, Sanchez is taking sector 2, and Sanchez goes up the inside. Are we going to see an incident between Vizcarra and Sanchez? We don't. Vizcarra manages to hang on, but Sanchez was... Vizcarra's quicker in sector 3, so unfortunately for Sanchez, he's got to try and get that sector 3 sorted out. Over the exit of Beckett's we go, down through Chapel, leading off now on that run down into Vale, and Vizcarra and Sanchez has opened up about 4/10 of a gap at the moment, so he's doing an absolutely stellar job. Vizcarra a little bit quicker over sector 4, so it's all... Vizcarra's trying, but it's just, you know, stay out in front, take your line, do what you got to do, hit your braking markers, and make sure you don't get it wrong. Down here at the back, though, Andrew Sinop and Charles Krasik having an absolute barnstorming scrap. That gap did come down to about 2/10 at one point here with Inop. He's got to get on the brakes, though, mind you, because he's going to... you're going to go in. On the go, on the go, on the go, on the go. Gas, gas, gas. And Andros Inop goes round club, down the straight once more, and there's Charles Krasik into Abbey. We'll be going right-hander, tucked in, of course. Let it run out through Farm, down into Village, onto the brakes, get it stopped. There's been a spinner. Benavides and Richard Hearn, both, it looks like they've made a mistake. Oh, Inop and Krasik. Inop's going to try that cutback. Is he going to be able to get it done? He's not, but what has Benavides and Richie Hearn been up to? Did Benavides do this all on his own again? Coming out into Village. Oh. No, they made contact, but that's a bit bizarre. Hearn's on the right-hand side up here, isn't he? Oh, Hearn comes back on track. Oh, Richie Hearn. I cannot say much about that. But it looks like Andrew Inup has got past Krasik, and this is why, because Krasik did do this all on his own. Inup was already through, mind you, and then Krasik, I've got a funny feeling, is going to spin this up. Oh, they nearly made contact. And that's how Krasik ends up into the gravel. What about Philip Wyatt and Joao Puyol currently in the moment? They're now battling it out as well. So Wyatt and Puyol, I'm expecting Puyol to go through. And that isn't anything detrimental to Wyatt. I just, you know, if Puyol can go through, he probably will. And if Clausen can get both of them, he's going to have a good old go at the same time. So from Wyatt's point of view now, he's just got to try and take that defensive line through, down into, through farm now and down into village. Park it on the inside there, sir. Block off that inside. There you go. Good boy. Round he goes. And Philip Wyatt there doing an absolutely stellar job of just parking his car where Puyol's got to think twice about it. That's the thing. If you can position your car in the right way, Puyol's then got to think what he's going to do. He's looking up the inside at the moment as they go down into Brooklands. He's eyeing him up, seeing whether or not he can get there. Gets a little bit of a tank slapper on. There's grubby grass out there, young man. And he loses a place to Clausen. If Clausen could just move that car open a little bit, put it in front of Puyol. Puyol can't get through. That's it. Puyol's own mistake has cost him there. Puyol clearly has pace, but he just can't quite control the pace at the same time. He backs off. There was no way he was going to try and make that move. I'm not going to lie. On that run now, here we go. Then we're going to go left first, in through, and then we're going to go Maggots, then left again, and then we're going to go Beckett's, over the curb, on the gas, out of Beckett's, out through Chapel, and then down the Hanger Straight currently as well. Under the Johnny Walker Bridge we go here at Silverstone. Tremendous circuit facilities. It is so much bigger than what you think. That's the thing. I'm not surprised Benavides has gone into the pits there, CJ, after that incident with Hearn. I think Benavides is possibly going to be looking at trying to get some damage repaired here, and maybe we might see him back out on track. But the circuit itself at Silverstone is massive. You could drive from one side to the other. So instead of walking all the way around the track, you can drive there, drive around the track, and see, you know, all parts of the circuit, which is absolutely incredible. Franco Sanchez and Vizcarra fighting it out up front. 3 temps back at the moment. In up there as well is on the back of Cedric Ohayon. Anyway, now just sound like I'm saying Hawaiian here. 11 minutes now to go with Franco Sanchez and Vizcarra. Can Vizcarra drop this man? That's going to be the question. Is he able to drop Sanchez, or will Sanchez keep him close, keep him honest? Once more they go off down through Cops, and then they're going to be whizzing through. Maggers and Beckett's will see this from the rear wing here of Vizcarra. Round the left-hander we go, then through Maggots, then we're going to go left again. And then we're going to drop round that right-hander of right-hander of Beckett's, I should say, and then left through Chapel. And there's nothing going on here at the front. They're still doing a stellar job as they have done. Philip Wyatt is hanging on to this 5th place with Clausing and Puyol behind him. So Wyatt's got 10 more minutes to hang on here. That's going to be a tough one for Philip Wyatt, I think, to hang on for 10 minutes. Down through Vale there as well. Clausen moves over and allows Puyol through. Now what we don't want is contact, because if there's a little bit of contact between these guys, well, then we're going to have a little bit of an issue. So we want to hope that we don't have contact, and these guys will be able to deal with the situation and make sure they can't, which is great here as well. But Andrus Inop battling away with Cedric Ohayon. and Inup has just gone through. However, he has just run very wide. That's going to allow Cedric to come back through. Got to go late on the brakes here, sir. Got to go late on the brakes. He's left you room. Inup gave you a mountain of room there to send that in as far as you can possibly go. On the gas here, Cedric in that Lightning McQueen liveried SR2. Andrus Inup in front of him, sitting 5th in the AMS, 9th overall. As these guys running now into Brooklands, no gaps left there. What about Viscara and Sanchez? Well, they're still together going through Maggers and Beckett's. Through they go now. Once more, they are literally joined together for 9 minutes remaining. Been swapping places backwards and forwards here. What about Puyo and Wyatt as they're coming through the same sectors? Left-hander. Then through Beckett's they go, coming out through Chapel. And then down that hanger straight. How is this for Puyo? He's got to be looking at the draft. You can't leave the door open like that, Wyatt. He's just going to send it on you. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. That door was wide open. Puyo had the opportunity, but just couldn't quite get it done there. Well, this battle's going to go right the way down to the end. 8.5 minutes remaining here from the Radical Sim Racing Americas SR10 division, of course. We had the Europeans earlier on, and Puyo is nearly, he's looking faster, but he's looking apprehensive, which is, oh, he's pushing Wyatt through Village, through the loop. He's got to be surely setting him up down the Wellington Straight. Oh no, Clausen's made a mistake. We'll have a look back and see what Clausen got up to very, very shortly. But unfortunately for him, going through the loop just looked like he may have just taken a step off track there on lap 12. How bad was it, Mr. Clausen? Oh, he got a big snap on and then had to run that car straight. And that is how he ended up there as well. So it's, yeah, going to be interesting, going to be exciting for the last 7 minutes. Can Puyo get past Wyatt? Can Viscara get past Sanchez? That's going to be the question, isn't it, really? Puyo's dropping back a little bit here, though. Puyo's not making a difference currently. What about Francesca? What about Sanchez and Viscara? These guys now coming into the chicane. 16, 17, out of the chicane they go, round club. And then once more, off down through Abbey. 6.5 minutes remaining here for this evening. Hey, left-hander now going into Village. Got to keep it in nice and smooth. Pull it out a little bit wider. Open it up. Onto the curb we go. Now Sanchez goes away. I don't know why he's going to listen to me. I'm like a 1.3. I rating is like 4.7. I'll probably say he knows what he's doing. But it is quite interesting to give him a little bit of advice. You know what I mean? Down now into Brooklands. The left-hander. You want to keep it on the inside if you can here, sir. Oh, just opened up a little bit, turn a little bit earlier. Onto the gas. And here we go now. Down to that run down into Cops. 4th gear. See, that's the thing. I could do that with the SR3 the other day in 5th. Cut it in now, and out. Oh, he's missed the bad entry. In. Oh. Out of Chapel we go. 5 minutes remaining, and Sanchez and Viscara are still battling it out. Wyatt, Puyo, Siegel, and Jacqueline Here we go now. Sanchez is looking up the inside of Vizcarra. Vizcarra's squeezing him. Oh, is he squeezing him there? Vizcarra's going to be on our left. There he comes. Sanchez now ducking up the inside. Vizcarra shuts it off. He's gone too hot. He manages to hold it, but he went too hot there, did Sanchez. We saw the puff of smoke coming out. Over the line they go for the last 4.5 minutes. And they're not letting off Vizcarra and Sanchez. They're not letting off currently. Battling away quite nicely as Vizcarra and Sanchez for that front position. Puyol and Wyatt are also battling it out further down here. Puyol still dropping back from Wyatt. It was down a little bit closer than that, but has come back once more out to that 4/10 mark. The leaders are nearly side by side currently at the moment, with Sanchez on the left, Vizcarra on the right. Into Brooklands they go. Vizcarra's going to cut his nose off, surely. Opens up the steering a little bit, and that tells Vizcarra he's not going through. There's no way Vizcarra is going to jeopardize that one, as he's basically out in front, and Sanchez is just not going to be able to get through this time. The draft's going to pull him in. 3.5 minutes remaining at this circuit. I think they're going to get one, maybe one more, depending on how long it takes them to get round here. We're looking at a lap time of about 1:56.4. Oh, he does. First, Vizcarra and Sanchez almost looked like they were going to swap positions there, but Sanchez manages to stay in second with Vizcarra in first. And these guys are now on that run down the hangar straight down into Stowe. So a stellar job from these guys once more. Onto the brakes. Into Stowe, 2:56 on the clock, so it is going to be one and one more. Into club we go here. Puyol's 5/10 back at the moment. Puff of smoke from Vizcarra's car. Sanchez is going to look at diving up the inside, not this time around. So be prepared, we're going to be on the final lap, one next time round here. And Sanchez and Vizcarra still battling it out, doing an absolute cracking job here. Oh, gaps down to 3/10, nearly 2. Sanchez has got to get Vizcarra if he can. Even for Vizcarra's standings, it will do him a world of good to take the win here. I'm not going to lie, if he can. Vizcarra on the brakes once more. Down through Woodcote, or Woodcott, depending where you're from. Here we go down into Copse now. He's got to stay close through Copse and out of Maggots and Beckett's. Could then make a move down from Maggots and Beckett's down the hangar straight into Stowe. But he's got to stay in there. Does manages to. 2/10 back at the moment. Wyatt and Puyol. Puyol's taking out a big chunk of time over Wyatt. Sanchez is going to try the outside line. Round Stowe we go. We have got somebody on our inside. Just see their wheel arch. Contact there as well. Lots of contact. And the two teammates are as they were, but there was definite contact there with Sanchez and Vizcarra. It's almost there as well. Sanchez, Vizcarra, Sanchez, Vizcarra. So they're the guys that have led this race so far. Final lap of the race now. And this battle with Joan Puyol and Wyatt still battling it out. Going to see Barney on the right hand side, unless Barney's taking a day off, which he does look like he's had a day off there, Barney. However, there was 2 Barneys in a race I did earlier for the IGP at Aragon, so I don't think they've quite worked out the position of where Barney's going to go, because there was 2 of them waving. It was a very bizarre thing to see. But Sanchez and Vizcarra now battling for Brooklands. There you go, the clock strikes down. It's going to be all done and dusted here. Very, very shortly. I don't think Sanchez is going to relinquish that position. Don't think he is. What about Puyol and Wyatt? They're still, well, nose to tail. Wyatt goes on the defensive. He comes back over, starts taking his line away. Puyol got to get this run now. He has. He's going to have the inside first. Then he's going to be looking at trying to take the exit. Oh. Puyol and Wyatt having a coming together. We'll have a look at that one. But we are going to go over the line, and it's going to be Vizcarra with Sanchez behind him. And then you got Siegel in the arms, Jacqueline in the arms, and then you've got this man Puyol with Clausen third in the arms there. Was this done? So hard, right? Because this is before goes off. From that point of view, right, you can see why Puyol went for the gap. The problem is watch the door close on him. He's off track technically. I agree. There wasn't any room. There wasn't any room left. But here are the results now. And we got Vizcarra out in front with Sanchez in second, Siegel third, Joel Jacqueline fourth, Clausen fifth, Inop sixth, Cedric Ahern seventh, Richie Hearn eighth, Charles Kreisig ninth, Puyol 10th, Wyatt and 11th, with Benavides not completing the race there. So, yeah. I think that may get looked at from the stewards. I'm not going to lie, because just Puyol was off, right? He was off circuit. So technically now the whole track should be Wyatt's, right? Because at the end of the day, Wyatt hasn't got to let off if a man's not on the circuit. Maybe Puyol shouldn't have kept his foot in, I guess. Difficult one, really. It is a difficult one. But Matt, we've got Max Siegel waiting in the interview room. Max, good evening to you, sir. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
Did you enjoy that one, sir? You've won the AM division. Incredible there.
Sorry, can you say this again? I'm sorry.
I said you took the AM victory, so well done to you.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good race. I have to say, the longer the race took, the more and more comfortable I got in the car. So yeah, I could have done a little longer.
Yeah. Well, they are only half an hour here as well, Max. You know, what you're looking for out of this season? Because obviously, you know, it's not been a bad few races. We're in round 5 already. You know, what's the plans for you? Because you're sitting in 8th in the championship at the moment.
You know, the problem is I'm going back to Europe for a month. I'm originally from Europe. So we're going back to see family. So I'm going to miss, unfortunately, all of the remaining races. So the plan is...
Go on.
I'm just gonna wait for the next season, and hopefully I can keep this kind of form.
Okay, let me guess. Norway?
No, Austria.
Oh, drats. Well, at least I was that side of the Europe, I suppose. But
That's all right.
well done to you, bud. Absolutely stellar job. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, the whole Radical Sim Racing team and group. It's my first season, but I've had a lot of fun. It's very good racing, very, very competitive, but also very fair. So thank you all.
Yeah, absolutely. A stellar job. Max, thanks so much for joining us for what you have been here for the season, of course. And safe travels, Max. Hopefully see you back next season.
Thanks a lot.
Take care, bud.
Yeah, bye.
All right, now next up in the booth is Philip Wyatt. Good evening, Philip. How are you?
I'm doing well, James. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You are up 2 places, finished 4th in the pros.
Yeah.
What's the opinion of the incident?
I'm going to try and, for the first time in a long time, not see the sinister in it, to be honest. I knew he was going to have a go. He was looking. He had paces in parts of the track that were clearly quicker, and I thought I was not blocking, but certainly holding my line, and I didn't know that there was anywhere else to go through that complex there. There just isn't anywhere to put a 150-mile car with that little wiggle room without me coming off the track. To be honest with you, I thought he left the track and rejoined, and that's when the incident happened. So I'm going to... James, I'm not even sure if it's worth worrying about. Racing happens. It's all good. I'm having a great time out there, and I've learned to kind of cool the jets a little bit from being quite so animated about it. So he did a good job. He was driving a great race. If he gets the spot, he gets the spot. But I'm having fun.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. I hate to tell you this, but the initial contact wasn't actually contact. You were already on the move with a gap between your car.
Was there some netcode in there as well? I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, there was a little bit, I think, because it looked like you was already on the move before his car actually had made contact. Now, I'm not saying there wouldn't have been contact, Phil. What I'm saying is that there clearly would have been, but there was a little bit of netcode in there at the same time because your car was definitely sliding out. But you were on an absolute flyer, What's the aspirations for you for the season, Phil, currently at the moment?
Well, I want to get one of these kind of finished without the incident. Laguna was an absolute nightmare for me. Straight off the line, I got taken out. Later in the race, I was hit again, and later in the race, I was hit again. And I had good pace at Laguna, and so, to be honest with you, James, I'm trying to see my way through the frustration at the moment and just try and finish one of these without this sort of incident happening. And I think ultimately, if you fight hard, you race hard, and you try and hold position, you always put yourself in that position, whether that's anywhere else. But, it's a fantastic league. These are the guys from the Americas and Europe. These guys are the best radical drivers in the world. I'm proud to be amongst them. So, aspirations for the rest of the season is get a handful of top 5s, and I'd be quite happy with that, especially as the way the season started so far.
Awesome stuff. Well, Philip, thanks so much for joining us. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
I never said it before, but the team Geodesic, they're a good bunch of guys, much higher I rating than I am. They're superstars, and they're out always competing, but they allow me to take part and do my own thing. You guys for doing a stellar job. I'd also like to thank the investigation team, Nihad, and team at the Radical Sim Racing Group for doing a very fair assessment of the prior incidents. I'm sure something will happen on this one as well, but I'm having fun, James. That's what it's all about.
All right, Phil. Well, you take care, buddy, and I look forward to chatting to you as the season goes on.
Cheers, James. Thank you.
Take care, mate. Well, there you go. That was a very upbeat and jolly Philip Wyatt there, and an absolutely stellar job from him. Big shout out to Viscara for taking the victory. Siegel in the AMs, of course. So an overall, even though we only had 12 cars on track, it still was some great racing. But that's going to wrap it up from me this evening, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on this evening, and I hope you have enjoyed the racing. But from myself up here in the booth, you all take care. Have a great week, and you never know, I might see you on a track sometime. Good night.